Hey guys, it is Duke, and welcome back to the episode of Duke Builds Creatively. How are you guys doing today? I'm doing fantastic, and I'm so happy we're back to record another episode. It's been a while, and I'm sorry for that. That is entirely my fault. I had an episode recorded, okay, which is why I have so much progress done. If you guys don't recall, we only had the one house last time, and we built the other on camera. And then I've done a lot more since then, obviously, as you can see. But why did I not upload that? Well, you see, Duke made a mistake, okay? I was sitting there, and I was editing some Skylock. And I was like, okay. And after every time I'm done uploading, I delete footage that I just recorded because I don't need it anymore. And when I did that, I accidentally deleted my Duke Builds Creatively footage too, and I had not edited that yet. I was so disappointed, so sad, and I am sorry for that, guys. That is all my fault that you guys missed out on all this. But hey, we've got a lot done. Oh shoot, I forgot we didn't get this house done. I was gonna have another house right here, and it was gonna be great. Actually really looking forward to continuing this. Oh, that was my issue. That's why I stopped. I built this weird, so I just sort of gave up for the moment. Okay, we'll come back to that in a bit, because today's episode is mainly about interior design. So as you saw in the title, that's what it is, and here is what we did in the footage that you lost. Alright, so let's just have a little bit of a tour, because Blonde Skunk, great guy. I play with him on Afterlife. He does build tutorials, and when he does these build tutorials, he normally starts with a showcase, and that's to showcase what he's done, and then later in the video, he tells you how to build it. So that sort of style might almost work for me here, because we already have one done, so it's like perfect. But you walk in, and we've got the living room here. There's a very small living room, which is sort of, you know, what you'd expect. These houses aren't supposed to be huge and beautiful. They're supposed to be sort of run down, sort of shoddy workmanship, but honestly, just they have heart, you know? They have that sort of like charm to them. And I feel like I've sort of replicated that how I wanted it. So you come in, there's a little bit of a carpet, not much, and it's different colors because it's gotten a little bit dirty over time. We've got a trap door that leads out to the water, which I will worry about in the near future. I actually have an idea for what I want to do out here. It's going to be pretty cool, but I don't know how to implement that quite yet. And then we've got some lighting, we've got a clock, we've got a jukebox, and a skull. The skull, let's just not picture that as a human skull. Maybe it's something else, because, yeah, it would be kind of weird if it was a human skull and it's just sitting in someone's living room. But then we've got this sort of like little dividing thing. It's like a dividing wall that gets you from the kitchen to out here, and I really, really like what we did. So, look at this. Since we're using BWO's texture pack, our furnace looks freaking amazing. I love it. It looks so cool, and it actually looks like it should be fitting in here. So, as you see, this is a very, very small kitchen, and normally I would not build a kitchen this small. If I wanted to live in a house like this, I'd make a big, grand old kitchen with enough room for a fridge, you know, and not this to happen. When your stove and your sink are touching, oh geez, that's a nightmare. But you know, it just has to work. In this situation, it works. In this scenario, it works, and I sort of like it. And then up here, this would be an open area where we would hang our racks. We'd hang our racks. No, this is where we hang our plates, on these racks. That's what they're supposed to resemble. I don't know. I think this area is pretty cool, and I like how it turned out. Then we come upstairs, and we've got the single bedroom. Again, BWO's edition with the gray bed looks great. So it's a very simple bedroom. Not much to it, which sort of fits for this type of build. You know, you know, you don't expect to come upstairs and see like a king size bed and like really beautiful like accessories and stuff. No, it's very simple, very straight to the point, because that's all they had, that's all they could afford, and it sort of makes sense. So we've got what's sort of like a little nightstand almost, with a chest there. You can store in your lily pads if you ever feel like it. You can sleep right here. We've got this nice little sort of balcony thing. It's not really a balcony though, it's just sort of fence off where the stairs are. And then if you come up here, this is just a little bit of a ladder. You get up here, and this is where the house storage is. So we've got a trap chest there and some normal chests there. I thought it was really cool when I built it. It was a great use of space, and every house needs storage. So whenever you're building houses, make sure to have proper storage in them. Now, this is just sort of the design I went with, and I feel like, you know, it's nice, but you guys don't really grasp what I was trying to go for there. Without me being able to sit there and talk to you as we build, it's really difficult for you guys to understand just what I thought when I was doing this. So, if we want to have a little bit of a tutorial here, I'm going to cut right here. I'm going to gather up some blocks, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so we've got a few blocks together, and I picked this house. This house here on the end is sort of one that I thought would be best. That's one we did earlier, but this house though we're going to do now because I really like this house. It's probably one of my favorites just because it resists symmetry. So instead of having, you know, the normal 3x3 window like areas like this one does, we went with a 2 wide. And normally people would be like, yo, don't do that, don't do that. And also, there was a time where I'd say, don't do that. But, you know, this is Minecraft. You can do what you want, and I'm going to do what I want here because I sort of feel like it fits. You know, you need a little bit of difference in the houses. Every house needs to be unique, and that's what this one is. So, you walk up a little bit inside. We've got this sort of open room, long and thin, okay? Which is going to sort of lead us to figuring out how we're going to design this. And then we've got another floor up here, which will also help us because it actually works out pretty well for what I want to go for. And then we have this little porch. And I like this because this is sort of like the leisure part of the house. This is nice. It just allows people to sit in here. You know, I mean, they're a little boxed in because of these. Maybe if we got rid of those, heck. Normally, I just do that because it sort of fits that, but yeah, we get rid of those. It feels a little bit more like you're sitting out admiring the city as people walk by and bring back their fish from the successful fishing trip. Pretty cool. All right, so we're going to start. First of all, this place needs to be divided into rooms. Now, you could just go for the open plan and just sort of have everything sitting around. And that's sort of the normal thing to do in Minecraft, but I'm going to say no. We want to sort of wall this off. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring this across, and then I'm going to take away that one and bring this right like that. Actually, we did that on the wrong side, so we'll take away that and put it there. And that's going to sort of be the deciding factor because that's where we come in here, and we don't do that because that would be a very bad decision. And we come right on up. And perfect. Actually, we're going to go with one of those because, well, the sort of color scheme I'm going with is to make sure that it's different in everything because as we've gone over in previous episodes, the dark oak sort of fits well for a sort of dirtier and even more wet than the spruce. So I don't want them all to be, I don't want there to be patterns. Staying away from patterns is really difficult when you're only given a little bit of space. So when given 4 stairs, it's okay to have 3 of one color and 1 of the other because if we went 2 and 2, well, it would look like a pattern, it would look man-made, and that's not what we're going for. So we're going to stick with that. I'm going to come back here and go 1 like that. And we're going to end up using this area right in here, so we're going to keep that. But we are going to put 1 like that, and that's just to sort of look like it's a little bit more stabilized and actually has a purpose. So this area is going to become our very small kitchen, even smaller than the last one we had, because there's really not that much room in this house. This is a very small house, but you know, that's okay. It goes along with the theme that people didn't have much to work with, and they're sort of trying to get by with whatever they had. So we're going to come in here with some carpet, and we're also going to have some light gray as well. And I think we're just going to sort of put it like that. They're going to have a jukebox. The jukebox is nice. I really love using the jukebox in builds because it's a nice interior item that people seem to forget about a lot. I don't know. I like it because it can play music and it sort of resembles a focal point in the house. Because, say, at this time, if somebody had a jukebox, okay, this would be sort of where everybody comes together and talks and enjoys while the jukebox is playing in the background. It's enjoyable, you know, it's fun. And leisure time like that is not something people had often. So when they did, I'm sure they were grateful for it. So we need light. And torches are something that I'd say stay away from, like completely, if you're not building medieval or near it. Steampunk, that could work, and medieval and this sort of Renaissance sort of design I'm trying to have, torches work. Outside of that, no. Torches do not work. And that is why I hired Blonskunk himself on Afterlife to come in and do some interior lighting. Because, well, I didn't want the torches anymore. But in this case, torches work. Then we're going to come on over here, and I think what we want to do is just put a torch right there. It doesn't really need to be on any fence like I had over there. That's just for a design. But over here, it sort of works because it gets up there, and that's great. You need to make perfect use of where your light goes. As you know, it gives off a light level, and if it's less than 7, mobs will spawn there. Nobody wants that, so make sure that it's entirely spawn proof, and there will be more light up here, but for now it's sort of needed. So there we go with that, and we're gonna come on in here with, where is our cauldron? That is what we need. Let's go cauldron. I thought I saw it. There we go. There we go. Okay, we'll pop it down right there. And let's take a water bucket and fill this bad boy up. I really like cauldrons for sinks. I know there are other designs for sinks out there, but it's one of my personal favorites. And we're going to come with a stone slab for a little bit of a countertop in the corner there. And then we're going to come on over with a furnace because I love how these furnaces look. And it's all we have room for. So, yeah. You know, when you're not given much room, you sort of just got to work with it. And in this case, I think we've found a way to work with it quite well. And then I feel like we need something else in here. So what would be a good idea to put in? I'm thinking maybe a little bit of an item frame. Item frames are perfect. They don't take up much room, and you can put whatever you want in them. So endless possibilities. In this case, I think we're going to go with another clock. Because people need to sort of know the time, even though they can look outside. You know, once it gets dark out, you don't know if it's 8 o'clock and you don't know if it's midnight, so it's good to know. So I think we're done with the downstairs. Very simple. In this sort of situation, you don't need a whole lot because, you know, if these people are living with barely anything, they're not going to have a whole lot. And as sad as that is, it's sort of the theme and design we're going with. So we're going to move on up to the upstairs. So in the upstairs, this is where I made room by adding walls and floors, which is kind of weird because normally you don't make room by doing so. But space efficiency is one of the most important things in houses in Minecraft, I think, because you can have a big old house, but if you don't fill it up, it seems sort of pointless. Why do you have it? But there are certainly ways that you can make use, and by storage is a perfect sort of deal. We can add some really sort of cool looking things in here, and plenty of things that will sort of separate it as its own room and look cool. So as you see here, none of these chests are like in order. There's no pattern to them. They sort of look like they were put up there, and that's exactly what I was looking for. Actually, at the end here, it's a little bit too much of a pattern. So there we go. It fixes it, and now, oh, well, here's the thing. Patterns are finicky like that. You know, you might solve one, but then you'll gain another. And in this case, we did. By switching those around, now there's the lighter chest, and then darker chest, lighter chest, darker chest on either side, and that's not what we want. So we're going to go back with how originally it was, and even though it looks straight across right there, over here you can see just how different it is, so it works. And it's a good use of torch because it allows for light up there, and it's a little bit hidden. Yeah, you can see it if your back's against this wall right here, but in most cases you're not going to see that torch, so that works really well. Okay, so next thing we're going to need is a bed, and you know, everybody needs a bed, so it's a very, very important thing to have in your house, and we're not given much room here at all because of how I designed the house, so we're going to put it against right there, and then what I think we want to do is, rather than what we did in the other house where we had the little fence design there, we don't have enough room, so we're just going to sort of leave it how it is, and then we're going to sort of work with some storage up here because And every house needs some storage, and we're going to make use of the space that we have. First of all, I'd like paintings. Paintings bring in a little bit of color, and they can also look pretty cool sometimes. Some of them I like. Oh, geez, Donkey Kong all of a sudden. I like that one. I think it was originally there, and I got rid of it, but we're going to keep it this time. Okay, and then another thing I like is armor stands. And if you don't know the armor stand trick, the Mr. Hutchie has taught me. It is to put a torch underneath of it for a little bit of extra lighting. And there we go. And now when we go to put on some armor over top of it, that torch will be covered up, making it really a perfect hidden lighting source. Amazing. I love it. Because you can't even tell there's a torch there. Yeah, you saw the flickering of the smoke there, but if you just sort of don't think about it, it's perfect. Okay, and it's still sort of left out. You only have 3 things up here. We need some more stuff, and I think what we're going to do is add in some more carpet because, well, a bedroom doesn't often have hardwood. Not often. Maybe in some cases, yes, but it's not something that most people have, and I think it'd be a little bit weird, so we're not going to include that. We have a little bit of a chest there so they can store stuff down here, like for another little nightstand again, and I'm going to go back and grab that flower pot because I love adding flower pots to builds, and what we're going to do is just sort of have this little, like table here. Nothing over the top. Just really quite simple with a little flower pot on top, and we'll add in the swamp native blue orchids. So I like using flowers that are similar to the area that you find them in. I feel like it sort of represents the area right. It sort of seems like it would be actually found here if you stumbled across this village. And I really love blue orchids. That's one of the greatest things about working in the swamp, is that you have these, and it's such a beautiful color, and it works really well and sort of give this whole room a nicer feel. So I really love how that looks. But I feel like there's one more thing we need to add, and I'm sort of coming up with this on the fly because, well, that sort of happens occasionally. You'll think you're good, and then you automatically think, oh, this could have a little bit more. Maybe I could add one more thing. And what I think I want to do with a banner is add in a banner. Believe it or not, I feel like that would sort of be kind of cool. No, banners would not work in this case. I realized there's no room for a banner. So moving on to the next bit, we're going to come up with something here. And I think what we want to do is sort of have this wither skeleton skull sitting up. Oh, it's raining! Okay, let's just clear the weather, and we'll put that there, and no, we won't. We'll put that right there, and the skull on top, so you can see it while you're looking up. And maybe, the person who lived here fought a wither out, in the nether once, and he was really proud of it, so he came back and put the skull up. Pretty cool. Plus, these are kind of valuable, so that's awesome. But I think I'm going to wrap up the episode right there because, well, guys, I think that's about good for this house, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and comment down below, and if you didn't, or if you want to see something different, let me know, guys. I will do whatever it takes to please the audience, and I hope to learn a little bit from you as you learn stuff from me. So if you're new to the channel or the series, be sure to subscribe. This has been Duke, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.